So when this code will run, this run scenario will be executed, and the run scenario will run the whole thing, and it will give us the output, like how many number of prisoner found their number for the first run, and we will store that here. Similarly, it will run for 100 times, so whole scenario is executed 100 times, and we will see the report afterwards as well. So let me print the report as well so that we can see it in reality what is actually happening. So I will serialize this one so that we can see in the JSON viewer, because that's a very good tool to analyze your data. So I'll save this one. Now this code may take a while to give the output as we are using loop inside loop. So let me run this one and check. So if I say number of prisoner found the number 3, so for every scenario the setup of the room is changing, right? Room map is changing. You can pause the video and verify, and this particular, so 100 times the room is created, and we see sometimes the number of prisoner found the number is 10, sometimes it is 3, sometimes it is 1, sometimes it is 0 as well, right? So we'll go back and let me check the probability here and say that give me the probability. So you see the probability coming as 40. Okay, now we'll execute the same code and we'll see what will happen. So it says it means that 40 times all the prisoners found their number. Apply the filter, just copy paste the filter here. This time it is 37. I'll execute again. And I'll apply the filter. Now it is 29. You see, it is like on an average, if we will go, it will come around 30 to 31 only. I'll run again all those 100 scenarios. And apply the filter. That is 39 again. We will execute for the last time. So without this strategy, this value will be 0. Like we have seen that probability 0.0008. That was almost impossible. But with this strategy, we can see there are chances, right? So now I'm executing the same scenario for 10 prisoner. Now let me execute the same scenario for 100 prisoner. For that, I'll just have to change this to 100, or I can take as an input number of prisoner while running the code. I will say now this method will accept one random number of prisoner, and this number of prisoner will paste over here. Right now our code has become whole dynamic, right? Only this number 100 is for the number of scenarios, number of times the scenario executing. I can run the scenario 10 times, 100 times, 1000 times, but for now I'll keep it as 100 only. And this method, now here I'll have to give the number of prisoners. So now I'm going to give this as 100. Okay, and I'll execute. This will take a time because it's running the 100 scenarios for the 100 times, so the time complexity is very bad for this particular code. But We are not focusing on the time complexity, rather for now we are focusing on the proof of the strategy. So we'll wait for a while. This is the reason I was taking the number of prisoners as a 10 in the beginning while we were developing this code. I think I should pause the video till the time the output will come in order to save time. So now the code has executed approximately, I think it took 20 to 25 seconds. Now it is loading the data. That's why I've resumed the video recording. So I will just try to see the probability instead of going on. Yeah. So if we see the probability is 35, right? Number of prisoner on the number is 100 and the probability scenario outcome is line number 66. So this is the scenario outcome. I don't think I'm storing the scenario outcome properly. Okay. Okay, actually I need to reprint the scenario repeat instead of scenario outcome. Sorry for that. I want to see the report. So this time we have seen the probability what it was. And we'll run the code again to see the report as well. What is going to be the report? And this time will be going to be our final time that we are executing the code. So previously it was 35. I'm executing the code again. It will take time. So I'll pause the video. So like after a minute this code got executed and the data are loading. So any developer out there, feel free to optimize the code. I'll put that in the Git. You can access the code, you can optimize if you want. So here we see the probability is coming as 28. And this is our scenario report. So this scenario report doesn't loads here. So we'll download the log and I'll see. The log is getting downloaded 18 MB files. So meanwhile it is downloading, we can review our code. So what we have done is, first we have created a method to create a room where the number of prisoners will be passed. Depending upon the number of prisoners, that many element will be added into a map with the values as a random number. Then we created another method to run the scenario. This scenario will call this method create room and it will run this scenario and it will check whether the prisoner will find his number or not within the number of box opened, that is the number of prisoner by 2. Like for 100 prisoner it will run for give the prisoner the chance 50 times to open the box. And then when we were able to do this thing one at a time using these two methods, then we wanted to run the whole scenario for let's say 100 times. Then we have created the third method to determine the probability, and this method is calling the run scenario method for 100 times, and it is checking whether the outcome is matching the number of prisoner or not. If it is matching, then it is incrementing the probability, and when it is not matching, then nothing is happening. And at the end we have seen the probability on an average it is coming between 31 only for 100 prisoners.